What's going on, everyone? So LeBron James being back is huge for this Lakers team. So far, he's averaging 18, 5, and 9. Been 3 games, right? Getting into the things. I do really like that he came in and really played within the team, right? It's something that I talked about in the offseason, something that we talked about, leading into his return. Like, hey, don't just come in and dominate and, take over and do all that stuff, right? Like, let Reeves, let Luka, let these guys kind of, continue to play to the level they were playing. They were winning without you. You want LeBron to add to that success, not, kind of by default, put you in that spot where it's like, okay, we got to feed LeBron and all that stuff. And LeBron, to his credit, has been phenomenal, right? Really love that, he's picking his spots, right? JJ and I think in the coaching staff, I think has done a really good job of kind of finding those moments. We saw in the Clippers game where LeBron got to shine, Austin Reeves got to shine, Luka got to shine. And again, like, I wasn't worried about LeBron figuring it out. I just, would it have taken a little bit of time? Would there have been a little bit of a learning curve? That's kind of the question. And so far, I think it's been, kind of seamless. Now, granted, playing the Utah Jazz and the Clippers, 3 teams that haven't really been great this season, but still, something that I've talked about. It's good that we're not, like, it's different when you're playing OKC, whatever, Toronto, and the Cavs, like 3 of the better teams in the league right now, or Denver or whomever, right? Where you don't really have the time to, like, the fact that we're playing lesser teams is good to kind of figure out some of this stuff, to kind of work on and work through some of these things where, if you're playing one of the top teams, it's tougher because it's like, hey, like, you don't have like, man, we had this like 3-minute stretch that was terrible or a little awkward or whatever. But again, LeBron James being back, we're not better without LeBron. I've talked about, I think this team without LeBron is a playoff team. LeBron is the piece that I think has the potential to put us over the top. But we still need trades, right? Lakers still have clear needs out on the perimeter, athleticism, two-way play, guys that can knock down the 3 ball, but defend at a high level, especially if you're going to go with Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves in your backcourt. You need that guy to kind of put it together. LeBron James can play the defense, be athletic, be the anchor in a lot of ways, but you need that other piece to kind of operate out on the perimeter, right? Andrew Wiggins, Miles Bridges, Herb Jones, whomever, if you can get that guy. But I saw Jason Timpf recently speak on, whether Lakers should do a trade or not, and that it could potentially fall on LeBron. How great is LeBron this year? If he starts to kind of get gassed, or, if you start getting, he basically said, if you're in mid-January and he's looking good, he's looking spry, he's not dealing with injury issues, then, yes, go make the move. Otherwise, you got to kind of think and, focus on the long term. But, and to a degree, I get it but I also disagree to an extent, and I want to explain. So, to me, I get the idea and logic. Like, if LeBron isn't 100%, if LeBron isn't able to be that level that we need him to be, is it worth making the moves or making the trades? And you're still going to need LeBron to be great, right? Like, you can go and get an Andrew Wiggins tomorrow, but if LeBron James isn't to the level that we need him to be, then you're probably still not winning an NBA championship, right? So I do get the idea, do get the thought, right? The last 2 seasons in particular, LeBron has dealt with injuries in the playoffs. We get to the playoffs, he's usually on one leg, he's usually hurt. But I also think a lot of that has been due to how much of a workload he's had to have over the last few years and how much he's had to put on the cape. We see it with Luka and Austin Reeves, stuff like, not going to have to do it as much. Like, he could, like I said, he's averaging 19, 5, and 9. He could, or 18, 5, 9. He could average that the rest of the season. We're fine. He's going to have those games where, hey, we just we need you, right? He's going to have those games where, he needs to be great. He's going to have the games where he just goes off for 30 just naturally because he's hot. He's 7 of 9 from 3, and he's having one of those nights. But there will be games here and there where you are going to need him, where you are going to, hey, buddy, we need you to turn back the clock a little bit. But it's going to be fewer and far between, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to need him to go and give you 40 a night or anything like that. Or, I've talked about in the past, how many games have we seen over the last few years where LeBron had to go drop 30 just for us to have a chance to win. Not even win the game, just for us to have a chance to win those games. So to me, I obviously, again, we need a healthy, motivated, focused LeBron. We need LeBron James to be LeBron James. Absolutely. But a good trade is a good trade regardless. And Lakers have needs regardless, right? Like, it's not like even if LeBron, even next year, let's say LeBron leaves next year, it's not like we still don't need that athleticism and two-way play out on the perimeter. You need that regardless, right? So I don't think personally that a trade for an upgrade at the wing should be predicated on LeBron and how good or healthy or whatever he is. Because one, it's a need that the Lakers have regardless, and it's a need the Lakers have had for years. Now, maybe you don't go for an Andrew Wiggins because his timeline's shorter, but that doesn't mean you don't go for like a Keon Ellis or a Herb Jones or a Miles Bridges or somebody like that. If you can get somebody that fits the kind of Luka timeline, which you should be trying to get regardless. Like, you could argue Andrew Wiggins is probably the best option that they could get. But if you can get a Herb Jones, I'd rather go get a Herb Jones just because, again, the longevity that you'd have with him, even in a post-LeBron era or whatever, and he still provides and gives you that need. So I think, I don't agree in the sense of, if LeBron, say we get to mid-January, knock on wood, and LeBron starts to get hobbled again, I don't think that should be the indicator of, okay, we need to make a trade or not. Because, again, one, you can always get better. Two, we're still trying to win a championship regardless. Three, if you can get a long-term answer regardless, you get a long-term answer regardless. Four, a good trade is a good trade regardless. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't be predicated on anything. If you can get a player that makes sense and is a need that you can get at a good price, a good business is good business, right? Like, you don't look at, oh man, this would have been a great deal, but we don't do this because, no, you do it regardless, right? And if you can be, like, let's say LeBron is hobbled, right? Again, knock on wood, don't want that to happen. But let's say he is, and you go and you trade for, say, a Herb Jones. Well, one, that makes you better, which then might give you the time or give you the team that you need to kind of continue to stay in that race. Let LeBron rest or, get back from injury or whatever, or kind of, maybe miss a couple extra weeks or whatever, right? To where now he can be healthy again, getting into the playoffs. Or, maybe let's say it is something where he's going to miss a month or two, right? Like, again, knock on wood. I want to be very clear about that, right? But if you have a team that's good enough to maybe get you out of a round or two, then you could still end up getting LeBron back, right? So let's say you still finish as the 3 seed and you got a favorable matchup that you can win in the first round, right? Like, and because you went and got a Herb Jones and a Keon Ellis, you're able to still be one of the better teams in all of basketball. And yes, LeBron might be the piece you need to take you over. Like, even right now, as it stands, no pun intended, or I guess pun intended because I'm using the name. But right now, I think the Lakers, without LeBron, could win a playoff series or two, right? Luka's that great. If Austin Reeves plays to the level that we've seen him play, I think this team, I don't know if they could win a championship. Again, you get the right matchups. We've seen Luka do more with less. Right? You get the right matchups, sure. Right? You get to the NBA Finals, you get the right team in the NBA Finals. Like, we've seen stranger things happen, right? But it's not something I would bet on, right? It wouldn't shock me, it wouldn't surprise me, but it's not something I'd be like, yeah, like the Lakers, like, man, Lakers run through anybody regardless. Right? There's definitely, like, I'd still worry about, Denver and just the top teams, right? OKC, all of that, right? But to me, I do think that they could win a round or two as is. And then if you told me, oh yeah, we're also adding in a Keon Ellis and like a Herb Jones or something like that, or even an Andrew Wiggins, right? Now I definitely think they could win a round or two without LeBron. So then you can allow LeBron to get back whenever he gets back, and now maybe be that piece that puts you over the top. Now, obviously, you'd be worried about chemistry and all those other things, but LeBron James, even 50% is better than no LeBron James, period. Right? LeBron James at 50% would still be, the second best player on this team. Right? And you're not counting his experience, his vision, his IQ, the way that he just reads the court and all those things, and his ability to just make plays and stuff. Even if he just becomes Magic Johnson for us, that's huge. We've seen him be able to pick teams apart just with his playmaking. Right? So, to me, regardless, the Lakers need to address their needs if they can. Again, I still stand by no trade is better than a bad trade. Be patient, right? Like, don't just take the first deal that comes. Like, again, the same old, right? But I don't think it should be predicated on LeBron. I don't think if LeBron's healthy, then we make the trade. If LeBron isn't healthy, then we don't make the trade. Right? Again, maybe you change kind of the type of guys you're willing, like maybe you'd be more willing to take on, an Andrew Wiggins or like a KCP or something like that. Just names for examples, right? But if LeBron isn't healthy, maybe you try to go the younger route, right? So maybe you don't get, Andrew Wiggins and a Herb, maybe you don't get that clear-cut starter, but you still get like a Keon Ellis and like a Matisse Thybulle, which might be just as good, right? Like, again, who knows? But anyways, always, this is a discussion. I pass question you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.